any of those preparatory steps.
Build that foundation of like trust and comfort of like showing this is needed. We're not just shooting in the air. This isn't, oh, let's try this. And we'll come back before the doctors and be like, oh, let's try this again next time. This is more precise.
It's specific. It's with purpose. You know, this is off here. We're going to do that way. We're not just rattling things just for the sense of making everything move. We're going with a purpose in a direction, and we can actually do it specifically.
Yizzo, my peoples, my Niji, what up? Hopefully y'all been amazing on purpose. You know your boy definitely have. We are here with the amazing Stephen Sell. We're at Sell Chiropractic. You know, I'm always saying have an amazing day on purpose. Part of having an amazing day on purpose and keeping my life straight in line is coming to see this guy. Try to get here once or twice a week. If I could, I would get here every day. A little bit about Steve. Steve is an amazing guy. He went there, Sinus, played football there, but I actually know Steve through his wife. Corey, my wife, we all went to Bloomsburg University. And that's how I got introduced to this gentleman here. And as much as I praise him about what he does now, I must admit I was a skeptic, and it took me a while to get here. I went to a few of his, he's an amazing guy. He's an awesome family man. Let me get back to him. Awesome family man, throws awesome parties. And when I say, I don't mean like just like bangers, I mean like families involved. You can bring your kids. We got tons. I've watched people grow at this man's parties. That's just the type of energy, the type of vibe that he brings. And that's why I like coming here too. Besides getting my body healed, I like the energy around it. So I'll let him kind of fill in the rest of the stuff from an educational standpoint. He has tons of certifications, tons of degrees. I don't want to misspeak on that, but I just want you to let you know he's an amazing human being first, and all that other stuff comes second. So
I appreciate that, Julius.
Of course, brother.
Yeah, we've been here. We've been here for almost over 15 years.
Wow.
Oh, 2007. So, right, that puts us at, wow.
Wow.
So it's been a bit. Started training at, I graduated from Palmer College of Chiropractic in Davenport, Iowa. It's where chiropractic was discovered, founded, back in the late 1800s. So now we're trying to just, we go, I would say, old school, regular, straight chiropractic.
Gotcha.
Analyzing the spine for its alignment or misalignment, and restoring. The whole major premise is if we restore the body back to, and the spine back to its, closer to its proper alignment, the body can then heal itself. The body can function itself, where it puts the major concept of you are the healer. The patient has the doctor inside of them. Rather than healing is from outside in, taking another pill, taking something else from the outside in. We possess a pharmacy in our inside.
Right? Yes.
So if we release that, then, so that's been the whole premise of chiropractic. And I really felt, the technique that we chose to do and that we do here is just applying that, real simple. And then, of course, if we do some auxiliary stuff, adjusting off the spine, working on an ankle or a wrist, or giving somebody neck tractions or something else to do.
So let's get into it. So like
that's extra.
Perfect example. Like, so a person like myself who I felt like I had no need for this. I'm like, all right, I'm in great shape. I'm stretching. I'm doing all types of sports. Obviously, I feel great about what's going on in my life, right? Why would I need this, right? So then I finally come in, I get checked out, and then like I slowly start to feel myself feel much better, because I got to a point where like I wasn't feeling good. I got injured, my back was bothering me. I knew it was muscle related somehow. I knew it was something a little bit deeper. I went through the doctor's course, medicine. They shot me up with what is that in the spine? They hit you with they do
cortisone.
Epidural. Hit me with that once. It basically blocked the pain. So I got worse because I went back to doing things that I had no business doing when I wasn't really better. So once that pain came back, I was in serious trouble. Um, Last ditch effort, I come to see this guy because I'm like, I don't really want to deal with the doctor. They were talking about going in, do surgery. First, it was like, oh, it'll be small. We'll remove. I have a piece of disc that broke off, and that's kind of laying against a nerve that's creating problems. So anytime I have inflammation, it just gets smaller. It just creates more pressure there, and that's when I have radiating pain. I had actually I was having issues with like sensation in the shower. I had different. The water felt colder on my foot than it did everywhere else. So like that's what sent me in to the doctors. But like I said, I was almost at the point where I was about to get surgery. Thank good to COVID. I thought they would try to vaccinate me while I was asleep. So I was like, I got to try something. I did. I cannot trust these people. So I said, let me go here. Steve started working on me. And then literally like in about 3 to 4 weeks, I started feeling like I could move. Like, can you explain like, why is it important and why was it important for me to continually keep coming? Because that's one of the things that I had a problem with. Like I always say, I gave it the stigma of like, why would I need to keep going forever? This, and that. So like explain why that helped me.
It's a great, it's kind of a two-part. The first thing, just talking generally about people that are more highly trained, more in good shape. We've actually had a harder time explaining it to those folks because the understanding is I can do everything myself, and I'd say you can do 90% of it yourself, but the challenge and why it's almost easier to have a detrained person that we know is not going to initially do any exercises anyway. They get better too, but they're so much more reliant on, chiropractic only, because that might be the only healthy thing they're doing that week. Now for you do everything else healthy, so where are the dysfunctions? And that's the thing. The first dysfunction is with the joint mechanics itself. So we might not feel restriction in a joint segment. What you were getting was where the sacrum, which is at the bottom of the spine, the keystone there, attached to the pelvis on the right side. So when you would run, that right one wasn't moving. The left one was going fine. You'd have that oscillation in the joint. Some of the spinal bones would be moving well. But there was one particular on the right lower where the pelvis meets the sacrum that was restricted. So that was always going to be a point of contention. That's always going to be a hindrance to your full potential. Even if there was no symptoms, even if you didn't have the pain, there'd always be a compensation for that. You'd be kind of like a hitch in your giddy up, So then what does the body do? It compensates, and you had one in the lumbar segment that was over-rotating the other way to kind of compensate. So you had two. Most people have two misalignments, or what we call subluxations, in each region of the spine, and it's because there's one primary and then there's one compensatory. There's one, compensation for the main problem. So that's where stretching won't unlock. Even as a chiropractor, I go to a chiropractor myself. I try to stretch, try to do some other good things, hit the gym, but the adjustment, the fixated segment would not unlock without a chiropractic adjustment or some kind of manipulative.
I guess it would be kind of like needing your tires rotated on your car. Like it has to happen.
Yeah.
Or you're going to be misaligned.
Yeah. You could be the best mechanic of the, and your car's all.
And I always say, like, we take so much better care of our cars than we do our body.
Yeah.
Like, soon as the light comes on, you're right to the mechanic.
Yep.
3,000 to 5,000 miles, you're going to get the oil change. You're going to make sure everything is balanced and rotated. But like when it comes to the body, like I'm sure how hard is it to convince a person that this is necessary? Because in my field, like I have to fight against the stigma of all the other crazy trainers that they come against.
Yep.
You're going against the whole thought process of academia, pretty much, of everything. Like how you should be healed. So
Yeah.
like how is that going for you? How are you able to continue to flourish? Because like every time I come in here, you're jam packed and you're doing awesome business, man, with awesome people. Like, how are you able to kind of survive through that?
Well, I think, the way we teach it is the first thing. We do, we teach it from from beginning, that all of us, myself, my parents, my wife, the kids, all are under care, and every human being should get an adjustment
Mm,
at some kind of maintenance level for forever. And it's having the courage to say that initially. Even if a chiropractor believes that, sometimes they don't say that. Like, they might do it themselves, but it's scary to tell
yeah,
somebody, um, from hello, we could get you out of symptoms in 3-4 weeks, but I want to see you 3 or 4 decades from now. Hopefully, we're still here doing, because that's the way you can thrive, not just erase some symptom and feel better. But then that brings us into, okay, so that joint mechanics is good. What's the second part of why we do what we do? And that's the neurological portion.
gotcha.
The same nerve that would be pinched and going down your leg and giving you that trouble in your knee area, that nerve also branches a million other times, and it comes around. Where does that go? In that region, that would go to your bladder, your bowel, and your reproductive organ systems. So that's your whole pelvic nervous system. The whole area, the nervous system there is feeding your pelvic organs. So
The creator is amazing.
yeah, isn't that right? So when we lift stress off of the nerve that would be doing the musculoskeletal pain, we're also getting that other benefit, where even if you didn't have a symptom, genitourinary, say your compression was cutting down your function of your bowel by 20%. We have this leeway where we might not even notice a symptom. You could go a decade or two before there's any issue.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, oh, I was diagnosed later in life with diverticulitis or some kind of irritable bowel. What if that was from the compression of the nerve 20 years ago?
Just building up.
Just building up. Dysfunction in the nervous system leads to dysfunction in the viscera, in the organ systems.
So you're literally creating a positive side effect here, right?
Exactly. Right. So we're cutting it off at the head. We're cutting it off from the beginning. We're going way back to getting your body, and we function better that way. So you take that a section higher and you're here. A lot of people have ribs out of place. It's been a hot topic that people been going to their cardiologist thinking they're having a heart attack, but it's a rib out of place.
Wow.
Put that back in place. Whew. What does that do? Digestive, the upper digestive areas. So acid reflux and different, how do we absorb nutrients to make sure that we're feeding our muscle systems? You eat good, but is it being absorbed by the small intestine into your muscles? Up a bit higher, cardiovascular. So that upper back where we carry a lot of stress and tension.
Cell phoners.
Yep.
Them deskers.
Yep.
Right.
And then the neck is everything else. So the neck goes up into the head, eyes, ears, nose, and throat, our immune system. So if we release pressure off the nervous system, we're getting better immunity. We're getting better cardiovascular. We're getting better digestion.
That explains why everybody's so sick. Because when you look around, everyone's got a kyphotic back right now.
Yep.
Like it used to just be like you would see the older people with that hunched over. And for those who don't know, like kyphosis is just this curvature of the spine, right? If I'm not,
so in this direction.
Yeah. So like that's literally everybody right now. Everyone's here. We're here. So like are you seeing a lot more of that now?
Yeah. And younger.
I'm about to say younger. Gotta be, right?
Yeah. So we take pictures with, we could take an X-ray as long as or without. We can take a picture with an iPad,
right?
And put it on the Posture app, and younger and younger, because what we're doing is, and it's phones, it's video games, it's even if we're doing something good, studying out of a book. Imagine that.
Yeah, right.
It's still this. It's still this. It's still this. So the postures and the posture dictates our function. So our structure is going to dictate how functional we are. I always tell that to my athletes, like
posture alone can make you a target.
Yeah.
So like, let alone from a health standpoint, just if I'm looking at a guy and he's hunched over, I'm going at him immediately.
Right. Exactly.
Immediately. So like,
from an athletic
I already,
perspective,
I already know that's not a good position to be in there.
if you're going to draw, you could show my 3-year-old, you know, if you're going to draw a cartoon of somebody that's sad, depressed, how would you draw them? How would you draw the brave, strong superhero girl, doesn't matter. You know, you're up, the shoulders are pinned back. You know, of course you got some good musculature,
Right.
but you know, it's
showing that health.
Positive.
Showing health.
Showing health. And that doesn't come from, you know, a sagging crooked spine with rounded shoulders and
Yeah, right.
you know, you could see that, and you could say which one looks better, you know, which one is probably having better function.
Easily, right? You can easily see that.
Yeah.
And like, what's the most dramatic cases that you've had? Because like, obviously, I told you, I spoke and I said I was about to go get surgery. So like, that's pretty dramatic. Yeah. So what's some of the other dramatic cases that you had that you've kind of nursed somebody?
Question. Yeah, so we've had everything from, you know, even, you know, we talk about the physical, but some of the great ones, there was a time frame where we had quite a few autistic patients, you know, and one of the things that always pops in for me is just the helping with sleeping symptoms for that child, you know, because the parents were at the brink of divorce because they haven't slept in a year, 2 years. They haven't slept, you know, it would be all night, you know, awake, you know, uncomfortable, banging head into the wall kind of thing all night. And then we started applying adjustments with a little instrument, not even doing anything by hand. And he started to be able to sleep through the night. And they actually said they didn't get divorced because he was coming here. I was like, this is, the trickle down effect is crazy. I mean, that's
powerful.
That's like,
that's powerful.
I wouldn't have thought that was going to happen from hello, you know, from can you help with, and it wasn't even, and that kind of brings it back to the other big major premise of chiropractic is that we weren't looking to treat autism. We don't treat, right. We don't even treat sciatica.
We're labeling them for that. We're just, what's wrong, bud?
Right.
Your back's hurt?
Yeah.
Let me check it out. Right? Don't put them on no names, no spectrums, no none of that. Just a human with a different level of intelligence, different level of focus. Just because it's different, we got to treat them like, I hate that. So like, yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that.
And it's just not whatever that end diagnosis is, we're never treating the diagnosis in chiropractic. The main thing is remove the interference in the spine and let the body see what it does. So some of his side symptoms totally decreased, you know. Did he have other? Of course, you know, but we've always said that, you know, no matter what you're battling, if somebody had, you know, spine issues and cancer, we wouldn't be treating cancer in any way. But is there evidence that getting an adjustment stimulates different things? They've done pre and post blood work and found out that tumor necrosis factor is higher in people. So that's the natural ability for us to have different chemicals and factors that can knock down tumors and so forth. So it's just we kind of get all those things as a secondary, you know.
Listen, once again, the creator is amazing. It's already there. So like, once as I heal myself, as you start to get more in line, right? As we use that term, because that's what you're doing here, you're getting us in line. But as you become in line mentally, physically, emotionally, nutritionally, like it all will blend in. Like you won't have to try to be happy. And that's
right. Right.
Like, you don't have to
Right.
try to be happy, which I see so much out here. I see so much artificial happiness. People are pretending to be happy because like they're going through so many struggles. I see the relief of just tension when you adjusting people in here, man. For one, the sound of it is like nothing else. You can't replicate that sound.
Yeah.
Two, the relaxation and ease of which you see people kind of just get up off that table with, and then even the ones who perceive it to be a horrible experience. Because
Yeah.
like that's a funny thing too. I want to
Yeah.
talk to you about. Like,
Yes.
you have me, I come in here, I lay there, you're ripping and cranking all over everything. I sit there, and then there's other people, they're like,
Yeah.
and they know that it's helping them, but like they can't get past that thought,
Yeah.
whatever they put into their head. But like,
Yeah.
like, what's one of the ways you help people get past that discomfort to kind of help them understand that obviously this will help you, but the whatever you've put in your head that this is hurting you, like
Yeah.
how are you able
Yeah.
to help some people with
Well, I
that?
think our the first thing is our process is slow on the front end. We meet and look eye to eye. We have a conversation. We do a screening to see if you're even supposed to be in this building. We do, rather than the opposite of that would be walking in and getting right on a table and getting moved around before we even did
Fill out the insurance work, please.
Right, yeah, that's the most important. Yeah. So, and then most times, most people are getting some kind of imaging, an X-ray on site right here. So, what we would do, and then they leave without an adjustment on the first day. They come back a second day, which could be the very next day, and I have the X-rays all looked at with lines drawn on them. I show them to them. They still haven't gotten an adjustment, but we look at it together. We try to help them understand. Most times the films speak for
I'm about to
themselves.
say that's got
Once
to be really comforting at that point.
once you see yourself on X-ray, you're like, oh, well, you could do the report for me
Yeah.
and just say, well, that's off. And I'm like, yeah, so all that builds up. And then when we do your first adjustment, it's essentially when we're still closed to everybody else. So it's private. I talk through the whole thing, make sure you know what's coming before it's coming. I think some of the worst stories that people have had, even perception-wise, even if it was a great adjustment, they perceived it as scary because the person, they either rushed into it
Yeah.
or they didn't do any of those preparatory steps.
Build that foundation of like trust and comfort of like showing this is needed. We're not just shooting in the air. This isn't, oh, let's try this. And we'll come back before the doctors and be like, oh, let's try this again next time.
Yeah.
This is more precise.
It's specific. It's with purpose. This is off here. We're going to do that way. We're not just rattling things just for the sense of making everything move. We're going with a purpose in a direction, and we can actually do it specifically. And then you couple that with that chiropractic's always been the safety is just, we do 350 visits a week. So about 12 to 1,300 adjustments a month.
A lot of
reps. And it's just clean. The body is way resilient against, it's not even, I don't have any stats on me right now, but they've always said how, your chances of getting hurt by an adjustment is less than your chances of getting struck by lightning twice in the same day. Like statistically, it's like 1 trillion to 1. It's like, you would never hit the lottery. It's like, you're never going to hit the lottery.
If you get hurt in your car, you have to go play the lottery. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Unless he's doing that ring dinger thing. I seen a guy with a towel. That's pretty dangerous.
Yeah, that's more.
In closing, I want to make sure we touch on this because I think it's super important. Kids, how young? When should we be starting them? How are we getting them in here? I know, like we've been talking about a lot. I'm definitely about to get my guys in here.
Yeah.
How's that?
There's, chiropractic safe as, our youngest patient ever was 3 days old. It's a front desk receptionist, granddaughter, right? Yeah, granddaughter. Yeah, it's girls. And yeah, it's they would never tell you anything. They're not going to talk to much later, but they manifest symptomatology in that visceral organic plane. They're not going to have sciatica. They're not going to have sciatica, but could it help? We've had a lot of stories of, just do that little, and it's a pinky pressure. It's usually upper cervical from birth, twisting the head out of the birth canal, getting those shoulders out. Even if it was,
you figured tucked into a ball.
Yeah, 10 months. Even if it was cesarean, the way that they extract, it's tension and pressure on the neck. So we usually can get, we've seen symptoms of colic decrease. Sometimes there's a torticollis situation where the head is stuck to the side. That can be removed. Sleeping through the night a little bit better. All those other things that are just...
So literally get them in here ASAP.
Yeah, it'd be great. It's not mandatory. It's not a medical emergency, which that's great.
But if you're looking to optimize your life,
it's a help. And what we've always done as a kicker to that is first year of life is free. So we see babies in the first year of life for zero cost. And then as you turn 1, it's $5. We go till they're 6, $5. So I've seen offices do $60 for, a child.
I told y'all this guy was great when we first started.
Every single time. Right? Usually the family is all here anyway. So it's like, typically the patient is not the baby and we don't know the whole rest of the family.
Yeah.
So they just bring the baby as an extra, but they get their little adjustment.
Yeah.
And
it's now not a financial burden.
Exactly.
It's the right thing to be doing. I mean, it's now you're not like, well, I know we should be getting him done, but maybe we'll just get the baby done this week and we'll skip the next 2 weeks. Like that just takes that pressure. That's awesome.
Not an option for us because if they're here, if you're on site, you got to get, if you're out of alignment, you get your little adjustment. As the little ones, and then as they start running around, athletics, all that stuff, no doubt. But what we've also noticed is that cognitive change. We've had high schoolers come on the day of their exams to get their neck adjusted so that they have better focus for their exams. So again, over and above musculoskeletal issues, we can focus, we can, decrease a little headache or whatever. That's a symptom, but focus and concentration, we've had, and
that's awesome.
And that guy I'm referencing, he was, just learning to drive, but he was coming senior in high school, and then he went on to serving armed forces. He's Navy, and so yeah, it just just the way it grows from there. But all ages, our oldest patient I don't think we hit 100, but our oldest patient is in the upper 90s. Again, we usually, because they're usually frail, and we would never do anything that would hurt them. We usually use our little instrument tool. If they can do some movements, we do some of that. But the very young and the very old, we usually, we were very, very safe.
Yes.
Gotcha. And then anybody in that middle ground can usually handle everything just fine. So
gotcha.
There's no age restriction on chiropractic.
Gotcha. Well, I appreciate your time. This is awesome. Guys, I think we figured out what's the worst thing that can happen if you are not taking care of your body and you're not coming to see a chiropractor. Make sure if you're dealing with a chiropractor, they got this type of energy here. I know you guys can feel it, even though you're coming through the camera lens. It's nothing but pure love and energy and knowledge. That was the main thing that impressed me about Steve and his practice here, is the amount of information I learned about my body. Being an exercise science professional, exercise physiologist, I'm well aware of my body. I learned so much more just dealing with this guy. So make sure you're tapping in to these type of energies and you're taking care of yourself, my brother. It's been amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, have a great day on purpose. Wow.
Yeah, this is Dr. Stephen Sell of Sell Chiropractic. That's S-E-L-L. We are on Bustleton Pike in Feasterville, between County Line and Street Roads. We've been here since 2007, and we're doing our best to keep it rolling.
Yo, dope, explosive interview with my brother. Yo, that was amazing. Y'all gotta come in here, tap in. If you in the Philadelphia area, Northeast region, Bucks County area, even if you up in Doylestown, take the ride down. You know what I'm saying? This guy is worth it. The energy, the information, the care, you're not gonna find a better place, all right? Thanks again for tapping in to What's the Worst Thing That Can Happen. I think we learned a lot today. I think we found out this is critical stuff, all right? Love y'all, stay amazing. Hawaii.
You know I couldn't leave without getting adjusted by my boy. Let y'all see how it works here.
All right. Yeah, so we'll talk through everything that we're doing. Now this is under consideration that we've studied Julius's spine for years now. So what we're doing here is what we call static palpation. That means feeling the spine for segments that are restricted, misaligned segments that we know that we have one in this upper thoracic section. We have one right here. We talked about this right lower fixation at the sacrum. We come down and check leg length, and that always correlates with what's going on in the pelvic. So the right leg is just a bit shorter functionally. It's essentially never anatomically short. It's usually just a functional short leg, which means as we get this in line, the legs after the adjustment will be even until it malpositions again, and then we have our lumbar fixation here, and that's what we're checking for. We'll talk about the neck in just a second. We do have a bit. This is the little instrument tool we were talking about. Some people get their entire adjustment with this little instrument. It is an adjusting tool, and that would be for folks that don't want to do their adjustment by hand or can't due to whatever various reason.
Right there. Yeah.
Whether it's a previous surgery in that section, a fusion surgery, or some kind of anatomical anomaly that we aren't supposed to adjust. It would be contraindicated in that area. So we would know that from your exam. We would know that from what is safe, and that's why we do a proper exam and we don't rush into adjustments right off the street. So we get in this proper position, and this position is just a side-lying position, but this gives us an advantage over this fixated segment. And as we roll, most adjustments require a quick movement to overcome that resistance. Good, so we're gonna get right in there, real push. Excellent. And we get that movement of the sacrum. That's the biggest one there for Julius. That would be, if we skipped everything else up to the top of the neck, that would be the second most important. So we've already done our job. And now we're in this lumbar. This is that compensated segment that wouldn't go out of place if the pelvic was just fine. A little push there. Excellent. And that's a nice clean up there. Now we're working on straightening up that posture, stopping that kyphotic position where we round too far forward. Good. And that helps us to That's the organ systems we talked about in the digestive and the cardiovascular in that mid-thoracic region. And then when we check through the neck, it's the same as everywhere else. The vertebrae are only moving this far. It's not a big aggressive move. The only difference is we do have to take the head over to the side first. So when we get to that position, then we feel a little bit of a quick movement there. But it's the same as everywhere else. So there's no difference, and there's no extra fear or worry about this motion. Good, right in there. Yep. And way up top. Most important section.
Yeah.
All in there. And probably another big benefit of chiropractic, in addition that we can do every other extremity, wrist, elbow, ankle, knee, shoulder, is the speed of it. How quick most people, it fits into their schedule.
Yeah.
Because no adjustment should ever be more than 3 minutes or so. Ever. Or you're not doing chiropractic, you're doing something else. But it's not like you have to take, and not that there's anything wrong with any other methods, but it's, you don't have to book a 90-minute massage. The adjustment is 2 minutes. When I go, it's a minute and a half. Boom, boom, boom. And then I get adjusted, and then I adjust the chiropractor himself, and then that's it.
It's kind of what I say about working out. Like, if you're at the gym for 2 hours, you're doing too much.
Yeah.
45 minutes,
There we
an
go.
hour.
That's getting better.
Whew.
So we don't need all that time. It's just, you do have to show up. It's repetitive, but it's quick.
Yeah.
So
I'm about to go call some more damage. Hockey game coming soon. Basketball on Thursday. Y'all know how I do it.
break
Thank
them,
you, brother.
break them.
Love you.
Love you too, man. Very good.